There's a bone in your body that refuses to die. It does not break. It does not decay. It stays long after your name is forgotten. The ancients knew it. Mystics called it the phoenix bone. Today we call it the sacrum. But this is not just about anatomy. This is about the code of resurrection buried deep inside you. And it's already starting to wake up. At the bottom of your spine sits a structure made of fused vertebrae. It looks small, but holds more power than we've been told. The word sacrum means sacred in Latin. It was never just a bone. It was always seen as a key. In ancient Egypt, it was linked to the Jed pillar, the spine of Osiris, the one who died and rose again. In Islam, it's called Ajbu al-Danab, the tailbone that survives the grave, the one part that does not rot, because from that point, we are said to be recreated at the end of time. In the Jewish Kabbalah, it is called the Luz bone, a spark of light that cannot be destroyed, the seed of rebirth. Again and again, through cultures, continents, and centuries, one truth was echoed. When all else collapses, this bone remains. And from what remains, we begin again. But why does this matter to you? Because in this life, you will fall. You will forget who you are. You will lose pieces of yourself to pain, to grief, to silence. And when you do, you'll need a place inside you that still remembers, that still holds the blueprint of who you truly are. That place is the sacrum. It holds a frequency, a kind of vibrational memory of who you were before the world told you to forget. It's not just a bone. It's a living code that doesn't speak through thoughts. It speaks through feeling, through presence, through deep stillness. This isn't just mythology. Even modern science is beginning to catch up. The sacrum is deeply connected to the autonomic nervous system, the part of your body that runs everything you don't think about. Your heartbeat, your breathing, your survival instincts. It's also connected to the fascia, a thin web of connective tissue that wraps around every organ, muscle, and nerve. Scientists now believe fascia stores emotional and energetic memory, and one of the places with the highest fascia density, the sacrum, which means your traumas, your memories, your energy. They're not just in your mind, they're in your body, and they're stored right at the base. This is why mystics said, resurrection doesn't begin in the mind. It begins at the base, at the point where everything collapses and something deeper still breathes. The sacrum is the anchor. When the rest of you feels scattered, broken, lost, it's the place that never moved. Not because it's magical, but because it's unshakable. It holds the original pattern of who you were before the trauma, before the noise, before the forgetting. The resurrection code is not about becoming someone else. It's about remembering who you never stopped being. Every fall you've had, every collapse, every time you thought, this is the end, something in you was still quietly standing. That something is not your ego. It's not your achievements. It's not your story. It's your structure. And at the foundation of that structure is the sacrum, your phoenix bone. The bone that does not decay, so that your true self is never fully lost. And even if you've lived years in collapse, repeating the same pain, the same cycles, the sacrum doesn't care. It waits. It endures. It remembers. So the next time you feel lost, don't go up. Don't go out. Go down. Return to the base. Sit still. Feel your breath. Feel your weight. Bring your awareness to the sacrum, not with force, but with respect. Because what lives there is not just bone, it is your resurrection code. The one that doesn't come from effort, but from remembering what never left. This is not theory. This is not belief. This is your body, your foundation, your return, and the phoenix bone is already waking up. There is something inside you, older than your mind, quieter than your voice, and more intelligent than any thought you've ever had. It does not speak in words. It speaks in sensation, in tension, in softness, in stillness, in pain. This is not your mind. This is your fascia, a hidden web of connective tissue stretching through your entire body. And inside this web lies the silent code of your return. This is not a metaphor. This is not a theory. This is your structure, and it remembers everything. Most people don't know what fascia is. Even doctors often ignore it. But it's there, underneath your skin, wrapped around every muscle, every bone, every organ. It's like a second skin on the inside, a silken web that holds you together. Without fascia, you would collapse. It doesn't just sit in one place. It connects everything. Your skull to your tailbone, your diaphragm to your pelvis, your heart to your hips, your breath to your spine. And here's the truth. Fascia is not passive. It's alive. It senses. It adapts. It reacts. And most of all, it remembers. Every time you were hurt, every time you froze, flinched, or didn't feel safe to cry. Every time you said, "I'm fine," when you weren't, your body remembered. Your fascia recorded it. While your mind tried to move on, your structure kept holding the tension, the grief, the betrayal, the trauma, the silence. It was stored not as a story, but as density, tightness, constriction, disconnection. And that's why healing isn't just about talking, or thinking, or reading more books. Because your pain doesn't just live in your past, it lives in your tissues, in the scarred maps beneath your skin. Fascia is not just physical, it's electrical, emotional, energetic. Scientists now believe fascia can conduct electromagnetic signals, meaning it behaves almost like a second nervous system. It feels, it records, it holds information. Ancient cultures knew this. Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, indigenous bodywork. They all treated the body as a field, not a machine. What Western science is only now discovering. The ancients lived and breathed. That fascia is the bridge between form and energy, between body and soul. And when trauma strikes, the fascia, not the bone, is the first to harden. But here's the miracle. Even after all the pain, all the collapse, all the shutting down, your fascia still carries your original blueprint, the undamaged code, the intact signal, the version of you that was whole before the world touched you. It didn't vanish. It got buried under layers of tension and protection, but it's still there, like a seed waiting for the right season, like a map waiting to be read, like a signal waiting to be heard. And now, that signal is rising again. The return does not happen in the head. It happens in the body, through movement, through breath, through stillness, through touch. This is why trauma can't be healed just through mindset, because trauma isn't just mental, it's somatic. It lives in the structure. And to come home to yourself, you have to go through the layers of fascia where the old emotion still lingers. You don't need to fix yourself. You only need to listen, gently, patiently, deeply, because the code is not broken. It was just silenced. One of the most powerful fascial zones in the body is the sacrum, your phoenix bone. It's where survival memory lives, where your nervous system roots itself, where energy rises from stillness. The fascia around the sacrum is dense, deep, and ancient. When you breathe into it, when you bring presence to it, you're not just relaxing a muscle, you're activating the code of resurrection. Because your rebirth does not come from outside. It comes from the tissue that never forgot who you were. So the next time you feel numb, or disconnected, or like you've lost yourself, don't try to figure it out. Don't force yourself to snap out of it. Instead, lie down, breathe slow, Bring your awareness to your fascia. Feel the tightness, the tension, the silence, not to fix it, but to witness it, because in that stillness, the silent code begins to pulse again. You don't need to become something new. You only need to return to what's always been waiting. Beneath your skin, inside your structure, written into your fascia. This is the silent code, and it remembers everything. There comes a moment when thinking is no longer enough, a moment when reading, understanding, analyzing all fall away, because some things can only be remembered through the body. This is that moment. This is not a theory. This is not a meditation. This is a somatic ritual, a ritual of rebirth. And you are not just listening, you are returning to the part of you that never died. The phoenix bone is already awake. Now, we invite it to rise. Find a place where you can lie down, on the floor, on a mat, anywhere you feel safe. Let the spine rest. Let the breath slow. Let the mind soften. There is nothing to do, only something to feel. Let the weight of your body fall into the earth. Trust gravity to hold you. You do not need to carry anything now. Bring your awareness to the very base of your spine, right above the tailbone. This is the sacrum, the phoenix bone. Say in silence, I have arrived, and I am ready. Close your eyes. Place your hands gently on your lower back, over the sacrum. No pressure, just presence, just touch. Breathe in through your nose, soft, slow, and breathe out with your mouth, as if releasing years of noise. Inhale, 4 counts. Hold, 4 counts. Exhale, 4 counts. Stay, 4 counts. Repeat this cycle. Stay with it. Let the rhythm take over. Now, whisper inwardly. Nothing needs to be understood, only remembered. You're not trying to feel something. You're giving your body permission to speak. Keep your hands on your sacrum. Still breathing slowly, still present. Now imagine. There's a small point of light pulsing inside the bone. Not bright, not loud, just ancient and alive. This is not something you visualize. It's something you remember. Let this light pulse with your breath, as if your breath is feeding it, as if this is the forgotten heartbeat of your core. If your mind wanders, return to the mantra, all that I am is here. All that leaves returns. This is not poetry. This is reprogramming. The sacred code is listening. Now, begin to imagine that this light in your sacrum is reorganizing your body from the inside. Your spine, your organs, your breath, your memories, all beginning to realign, not to the world, but to your truth, not to who you were told to be, but to who you were before the forgetting. Let your body tremble if it needs to. Let emotions rise. Let silence deepen. You are not just lying down. You are shedding old structures. And in that shedding, a new architecture is forming. This is resurrection, not as a flash, but as a new spine being woven. Now gently place your feet flat on the floor. Bend your knees. Slowly begin to sit up. No rush. Come to a standing position. Bare feet, soft knees, relaxed shoulders. Let your body feel new, as if it just returned from somewhere sacred, because it has. Close your eyes once more and say softly, I carry the axis of my rebirth. My body is the temple. The sacrum is the key. Feel these words, not in your mind, in your spine, in your pelvis, in your breath. You are anchored. You are alive. You are rewritten. This ritual does not end now. It only begins. Over the next few days, you may feel heavier, or lighter, tired, or electric, still, or shaken. Let all of it be. Do not judge. Do not fix. This is reorganization. The phoenix bone does not rise in fire. It rises in form. Each time you place your awareness on your sacrum, you re-enter the field of return. A portal opens, a code is activated, and your body remembers what your mind was never meant to carry. Repeat this ritual whenever you forget who you are, whenever the world becomes too loud, whenever the noise drowns the signal. Come back here, to the floor, to the breath, to the pulse beneath your spine. Because rebirth isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering you were never gone. There is a reason you feel the way you do. The tiredness, the ache, the heaviness in your bones that sleep cannot fix. It's not all yours, but it's all inside you. Because your body is not just made of flesh. It's made of memory, of bloodlines, of stories buried so deep, even silence forgot them. But the body never forgets. And today, we don't heal with ideas. We heal by returning to the temple. The temple is you. You were born into more than a name. You were born into a field of inherited emotions, unfinished grief, unspoken prayers, ancient strength, and ancient sorrow. And where does that field live? In your body, not in your mind, not in your history books, but in your tissue, your organs, your bones, especially in the pelvic floor, in the sacrum, in the deep fascia where old memory sleeps. You carry the code of resurrection not just for yourself, but for everyone who came before you. For centuries, mystics spoke of the body as a temple, not as a metaphor, but as truth. Your bones are the pillars, your breath is the incense, your blood is the sacred river, and at the base of this temple lies the phoenix bone, the sacrum, the place where the resurrection code is buried, not in the sky, not in a book, but beneath your skin. You don't need to build anything. The temple was never broken, it was only forgotten, and presence is how you return. You do not need to do more. You do not need to fix yourself. You only need to be with yourself, completely, without running, without performing, without numbing. Presence is not a technique. It is a frequency. It is a permission slip to the body to finally speak. When you bring presence to the tightness, to the hollow spaces, to the frozen breath, you open a portal into the memory of your wholeness. And the body says, "Welcome back. I've been waiting." You are not the first to carry pain, but you may be the first to transform it. What your ancestors endured, war, exile, silence, shame, was not just passed down through stories. It was passed down through cells, through posture, through wombs, through nervous systems. And where does it land? At the base, in the pelvis, in the sacrum, in the fascia that wraps around the temple's foundation. This is why healing is not selfish. It's ancestral service. When you soften your jaw, when you release tension from your hips, when you bring breath into the sacrum, you are doing what they never had the space to do. You are completing a cycle. You are becoming the living altar of your lineage. The resurrection code doesn't activate through thinking, or effort, or punishment. It activates through stillness, through surrender, through sacred attention. When you lie on the ground, close your eyes, and bring awareness to the sacrum. You are not being lazy. You are touching eternity. You are returning to the deepest point, the place that held your blueprint before the trauma, before the fear, before the collapse. That blueprint is still intact. And when it's activated, you don't rise the same. You rise with a new spine, a new center, a new root. So if you've felt lost, not just in life, but in your body, let this be your reminder. You are not broken. You are remembering. The temple was never gone. The code was never erased. The light was never lost. It was waiting, inside your fascia, inside your breath, inside your bones, waiting for you to return. Not to who you were, but to who you were before you forgot. So place your hand on your sacrum, feel its silence, feel its pulse, and say softly, I am the temple, I am the return. I carry the resurrection in my body. This is not the end. This is the beginning of your rebirth. And your entire bloodline rises with you, because when one body awakens, the field changes, the memory shifts, and a new timeline begins, all from the place that never gave up on you, your body, your temple, your return.